Did you have an adventurous weekend?
Yeah, it was a great weekend. Yeah, the weather held up. Not bad. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live all over the world. YouTube, kicking into Facebook. You can watch all the replays on socialauthority.ai. We almost got the new website up, Zach. I might have to have you give us an official review on the new website I'm building. You guys have watched? Zach, tell me.
To professionally redesign it.
You guys have watched? Zach, tell me. Get more professional with your website. We listen around here on Marketing Monday. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Monday morning. It is April 21st, Monday, and we haven't missed a day in like 6 months, dude. I'm proud of us. Zach Hoffman in the building from Exalts Marketing, the best of the Southeast. I almost said Southwest, but it's not.
Hey, man, definitely, gone global. So,
that's what I mean.
All over the world. But at the same time, we're definitely driving marketing as well as, really paying attention to what's happening in AI.
Yep.
Yeah, let's jump in here. Marketing Monday. And we're going to add a little bit of AI to the end as we discussed. Because you just can't ignore it.
Nope.
But the initial topics here for Monday's marketing, we're going to talk about Minecraft the movie. Unfortunately, the passing of Pope Francis, and get into Patch Journey onto ESPN. And we're going to talk about AI a little bit. Are you asking the right people in your organization the right questions? And then how is AI going to look for you as you engage in it? Is it going to look the same for you in 3 months? So we'll dive into those different questions and topics, and let's get started, man.
I love it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Let's break it down, give you guys some value so that you can crush the week. Sure. Zach, kick it off.
So, when we look at Minecraft the movie, definitely driving a little bit of the movie theaters crazy out there. But all I could say to the movie theaters is you should be thankful people are showing up. Yeah. So you have a $150 million budget movie that's now topped $720 million in the box office. Take a lesson from Jack Black, making an entertaining movie that gets kids engaged in the action, and probably has taken movies to a whole new level where, essentially I had the opportunity to see it this past weekend. So the movie is definitely, it's engaging, it's interacting. There was a group of young kids sitting behind me and my son, so got to experience all the hype of what the movie theaters are talking about. But those kids saw coming to the movie as a party, and they sure treated it as it. I mean, there was some silly string in the movie, and not from the movie itself, but the children behind us. But essentially, the movie was next level from like a audience perspective, really taking you down a journey of basically being all consumed and jumping into a video game. It's pretty awesome.
Dude, I mean, that has had a ton of anticipation. That program, Minecraft, is a 2011 game developed by a Swedish video game developer. And I mean, that thing has blown up online. For a 2011 game to, 15 years later be this relevant and this culturally, adapted is pretty cool.
Oh, it's definitely awesome. And, the beauty of the game is how it's kind of stuck to its roots in a lot of ways, even from like a graphics and like a user perspective. But it's really taken the consumer's mind and allowed them to go on a journey themselves. And the movie is almost like an open box. I don't think the critics really love the movie, but the audiences do. And the audiences are the ones paying the bills for Hollywood. So it makes a big difference when they love it and they're engaging with it.
I was about to say that I think that, and you'll probably agree with this, it's like, people, users, writing reviews, online reviews, chat boards, going on websites and reviewing theaters and all these things that we talk about. The public is now the Siskel and Ebert. Whereas it used to be they had so much stock in these critics, and now the critics do not speak for the people that are buying the tickets now. The attendees speak for themselves, and that's pretty cool because that's the free market on display. And Minecraft has digged deep into a buying audience that's going to show up. There were, by the way, some kind of horror stories saying people trashed theaters. Did you hear about all that? I briefly heard about it.
Look, every time you go to the movie theater, I mean, even spilling a little popcorn,
I
you
was
feel
gonna
bad.
say, doesn't that happen with any movie?
There were kids bringing live chickens to the movie. There was definitely, I swear, I think the kid behind us sprayed some fart spray during one
Oh
scene.
boy,
I mean, there's silly string being sprayed in the theater. I mean, look,
what are you
there are
gonna do?
things that are happening, and like I said, though, the audience is coming out to the theaters. They're having a great time, and I don't think Hollywood could look for a bigger savior than Jack Black and his colleagues when it came to Minecraft and lighting up just all the engagement from the big screen to the music post. Even his music is like short snippets and really made for the attention span of today's consumer, and those that are the consumption of media out there today.
He's played his characters smart as an older actor. He did a great job in the movies with Dwayne Johnson and
Yeah.
Kevin Hart. What was it? The Jumanji movies. And he did a great job as Bowser. So
No,
it's not surprising to me that he's appealing to that younger demographic because his character plays to their hearts. I mean, he's a funny dude.
I didn't really get Jack Black. I would say almost like when he first hit the scene, but now that I'm a parent and trying to get my kids to watch, different movies, he is safe, I would say, for a lot of children to like watch in a lot of
Yep,
ways. And he makes the parents laugh and he also makes the children laugh and brings everybody together, which is, what we need in today's world. So
absolutely, 100%. I'm all for it. I'm all for
for
it. Well,
sure.
Minecraft. So
For
what
sure.
if you had to give Minecraft a review? 1 out of 10, what would you give it? And by the
I
way, give
mean,
me a review from your point of view and then maybe what your kid thought. Because your kid
I would
probably,
say.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, from my point of view, knowing what I was walking into, from the aspect of like what the audience was going to be doing at the theater, or just like, some of the shenanigans that was going on, I would give it an 8 out of 10 for sure. And in my kid's mind, that movie was probably like a 9.5 out of 10.
Right.
Makes him feel so cool that he saw it. And now he's like constantly listening to the music. Definitely. They had a lava chicken song. There's just like some like funny things, and one thing that I said to my wife about the movie that a lot of movies I think like or even TV shows miss the boat on is people always assume you remember the name of a character. They say it like
Right.
once in a lot of shows or in a lot of movies. You're like, who is that? Or like tell me the character's name again. In Minecraft, like they repeated Steve's name like a number of times, or like the trash man who's like one of the associate characters, like all the characters were like repeated namesake like a number of times. They didn't go with that like, assumption of like, oh, so and so heard my name once at the beginning of the movie. Now they're gonna remember it the whole time. So there's a lot of like simplicity within the movie that I think really, made it like resonate and made you connect with the characters that a lot of movies just kind of like look past and just, base on everything that they're doing off assumptions of what the fans want.
Well, and that's such a great example of social authority, which is the whole point of this show of using that name to wedge that into the kids' memory. Because now the kids are going to walk around saying, "Hey, Dad, remember Steve did this, or remember this
Yeah.
character did that," because that is just an easy way to shake hands with somebody and remember their name and stuff. That's such an easy cue for people to pick up to just show respect, even in a social conversation, because it's just gonna help everybody.
It just shows respect to your audience in a
Right.
lot of ways. It's like even when you walk up to somebody that you haven't seen in a couple of years, I typically reintroduce myself. I don't go with the assumption that they should remember my name, but then people are like, oh, like assume that you should remember their name. I'm
Hmm.
like, it's a lofty assumption. Talked to about 100 people, well, like probably 1,000 people since
A
I've seen them in 2
day.
years. It's like, yeah, it's like, hey, I'm Zach Hoffman, how's it going? Oh,
Right.
yeah, I know you. Yeah, of course you do. I just reintroduced myself. So,
Right.
it's really critical to just make sure you're top of mind when it, comes down to like, personal interactions, down to marketing and business, but also when you're looking at it, like we said in this movie, a hit, a 750 million plus is going to break $1 billion to the bank. The assumption that the crowd and the audience is paying attention, but we want to keep reminding them who the characters are, what the
Mm.
characters do, and keep reintroducing them. makes the audience feel comfortable, and it also, like you said, it reinforces like the conversations
Right.
post. You don't have to like think about, oh, what was that character's name?
Hey,
It's like the
Dad,
character.
remember when Steve did this?
Correct. Yeah, it's it was awesome. Anyway, Jack Black is great, and yeah, the whole movie was awesome. So
He's done a great job of adapting his personality to younger kids' characters for movies, I think. And it was a strong transition for him, especially when you're getting older. You know what I mean? He can do voiceovers forever and be incredible at that.
oh, he's gonna be in movies forever. I mean, just
Yeah,
look at Jim Carrey in the Sonic franchise.
it's
So
great.
I have a feeling he'll be part of that Minecraft franchise for a long time to come.
Totally.
We'll see if he does any other movies. But to hop forward, in an unfortunate, situation, Pope Francis just passed. So, there's probably going to be that's a global impact, right,
Oh,
to a
yeah.
lot of people, and you're going to see, I think, like the tone from like global brands, kind of like they just need to like reevaluate their positioning a little bit, and humble their messaging. I feel like go forward, and then it's also going to be interesting to see who the church chooses as the next pope, and the core competencies of their messaging going into the
Yeah,
future.
and as someone who grew up in the Catholic Church, and someone who met Pope John Paul II in Rome in the Vatican at a young age, I can tell you that on over time, things happen in institutions or organizations or in religious based sectors or groups, and some people love one guy more than the other guy, or love this more than the other thing. And like you said on the show earlier, the whole point, in my opinion, of growing up and having the Pope in the church was for him to lead us all to a message of loving each other. That was the whole
Yeah.
point of me growing up. That was the core message I got out of it was, well, if I live in a good way and I'm good to people, and I, just like this, we show up, we bring value, we highlight other people's strengths, we magnify other people's voice, and we do it all in the right way, and we live the right way, then we're going to get the rewards. And in my opinion, that mindset has done wonders for me. So regardless of your background or what church you pray in or whatever, the whole overarching goal of any of that, again, just my opinion, is to love people. And so I think that if moving forward with the whatever they select, or however they, do their process, and however this comes to an end with a new person, if they have that goal in mind in 2025, I think that's a strong message. Everybody
Yeah.
live right, treat each other well, and be great.
For sure. And
Because it's
when you
so
look at
simple when you break it down like that. It doesn't need to be divisive. It's supposed to be inclusive.
well, always when the Pope comes to, to a new era, like they always have, specific messaging that they're looking to communicate.
Right.
Like his, was related to the environment, social equality, and
Hmm.
balancing out, just economics in a lot of ways. But the environment too, and it's like all of his messages are really core to what's happening in society today. So it's always interesting to see the position that the church takes from a higher level,
Right.
and who they choose to, fill that seat, because it always it resonates to where they're taking, their followers.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's no secret that that is part of the head of the brand of that church, and I have no problem saying that. It's true, and everybody knows
Mhm.
that. And so again, from my perspective, being someone who grew up sitting on that wooden pew, the whole point of being there was to learn how to treat each other well, go out and be great, and bring everybody else with you and win together. That was the whole. That was
Sure.
the whole thing I learned as a kid. And so if you apply that to any category of life, I think you can be a winner.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, that's what they stick to here. And I think they will to a certain degree.
Yeah, like I said, it's always interesting to see, the path, the message, the roots of, who they bring into, the seat. Yeah, so
Should be good.
we
We'll see what happens. And God rest his soul. I mean, he said a lot of things that woke a lot of people up. And so we'll see how they
for
tie that
sure,
all together.
for sure. So as we move forward, Pat Hilton here on the show today is definitely, hit the stratosphere as you hit ESPN radio and
Yeah, 101
ESPN.
ESPN St. Louis. So it's funny, coming up in the music business. When I was, and we've talked about it on the show, the music business is hard. And Zach made incredible observations. A lot of people I know that have been following me since way back in the day in St. Louis when I was singing at the bars, watch our show. And they're like, dude, that guy is such a great balance for your personality because he allows you, he reveals to you kind of what the outside world, how they receive your messaging. And usually it's, I'm close, but I'm not always spot on. And you're a very good data-driven, metrics-driven brain. And so, like you said, the music industry is very unsustainable. You can have a big, huge hit in 1991 and then completely fall off by 1993. That is not what necessarily you or I would call a sustainable business model. And this show is about marketing yourself in a way that creates sustainability and X, Y, and Z. And something that radio show hosts or broadcasters or podcasters, which I've kind of morphed into, do better than musicians is they're able to lock up advertisers. They promote on their websites. They're giving away a ton of free value every day. They can sell time on their show, on the airwaves, etc. And so I think growing up in St. Louis, I knew in the back of my head, I had a better shot of getting on the radio if I made something for the sportscasters because they had access to the sports teams and the Cardinals and the Blues and et cetera. And so I've been writing funny songs for the St. Louis Blues for probably 15 years. And the reason why I think part of it is so funny is because 15 years ago, the Blues had never won a Stanley Cup. They usually get eliminated in the first or second round of the playoffs. And so I would make these funny, hysterical little 1-minute jingles just as practice. And people would be so excited because no one was really making rally songs for the Blues because they generally lost every year. Again, no offense, guys. Bear with me on this. So I make one every year for like 6 or 7 years. We're clinching the playoffs, losing early in the rounds. And then I make one in 2019 and they actually win the Stanley Cup.
Oh, wow.
So in 2019, that song got picked up by ESPN Radio, and they've been playing it for 6 straight years ever since. Now, the Blues have not clinched a playoff spot in 3 years. This is the first time they've clinched a playoff spot in 3 years. So since 2019, maybe not the hottest run there for the last 3 years, but now we're matched up against the number 1 team in the entire conference, and we got in off of a wild card win. We're down 1-0 in the series, but ESPN Radio, God bless them, have picked up Pat Hilton's Stanley Cup 2025 song, and they're playing the new one on the radio. They're playing the old one on the radio. And this is just a great example of when you give people something valuable, when you share your talent, you share your skill set with the right people, they're going to promote it. And I think that's the cool thing about the sports market is that there's way less competition of me trying to write a song and get it produced or posted by Gary Vee or Grant Cardone or the local radio show than there is me trying to compete with Pearl Jam or whoever the new rock and roll artist is. That's the hot new thing. Now I'm old, but and so I encourage people out there as marketers to think about, like, we talk about Morgan and Morgan a lot because they are like the pinnacle of marketing in that lawyer space, right?
Yeah.
So we want to continue to showcase, how we can serve that brand. And it's the same way you should look at how you can serve the local radio station, the local hockey team, or whatever is. What can I bring to the table for them to just use? Because if they use it, what that is that isn't an endorsement for your skill set. It's a free endorsement for your skill set when, a hockey team or an ESPN radio station or whatever picks up your ad or your skit or your content. And that's why we encourage you guys to get on camera so much. You never know who's watching. You never know who might find something brilliant in your craft. And so it's pretty cool. I've never been played on radio stations ever outside of ESPN Radio and The Point in St. Louis. So thank you guys for the support. It really does mean a lot. more than
Oh,
you
very
know.
nice. I'm sure, it's just a starting point and it'll evolve from there.
Yeah,
Because hockey and NHL could use all the viewers they can get.
absolutely.
No, I'm kidding. But no, there's a lot of people that are Panthers fans down here. They
Totally.
won the
Dude,
championship last year.
apparently the Panthers
So,
are awesome this year.
yeah, they're pretty good. They won the championship last year, so you can't count them out.
Yep, yep.
But to move forward, you got anything else when it comes to marketing you want to talk about this week?
We want to hit on the AI. I think that the AI topics are going to become extremely important here on the show because people need to learn how to leverage these tools, and we want to start to showcase some of that for them. So I know you've got a couple of those. I say we load those up.
Yeah, so a couple of topics regarding AI, and it's not, that's the thing too that you need to understand is like AI is not just siloed to any one particular area like marketing, operations, sales. It impacts the whole circle, right? So what we see with a lot of organizations when you're talking about AI, it's are you asking the right people internally at the organization the right questions to get answers as to how you should be utilizing AI? Because there is a little bit of humanity and human pushback because at the end of the day, AI is making it more efficient to do a lot of the work many people have spent a lot of hours doing. But now it's like taking their work to the next level. So it's how are you utilizing AI? How are you embracing AI and asking the right people within your organization, your company, how they're utilizing AI and what they think you should be utilizing AI for next.
Yeah. And so if you are a marketer like myself or Zach, or you run a small business, you want to be asking yourself or your team, your social media guy or your web guy or whatever, they should be on the screen right now. That's why you're watching us, right? We're your guys. And say, hey, we want this result. X result. Now that could be automating spreadsheets. That could be automating the copywriting on emails. That could be sending DM sequences. That could be having a live chat on your website. Zach could set that up. There's all these little ways that you can use these AI systems and tools to save you time and to produce a result. So if you're a business owner out there, I'd be thinking about, A, what does my business do for my audience? So for me, it's we want to make sure that we're creating daily content, weekly content for our client base. And so, one, I have to record with people. AI cannot fake recordings. If it's AI generated, people are going to know and they're not going to trust you. Be very careful trying to fool people with AI generated avatars. Be real, be you, talk to your people, but use AI in a way that can find the right clips, that can help you find the right keywords, that can help you have the bullet points in place that you want to cover when your segment is on a show or whatever that is. We're getting even more organized on here. We want to make sure we hit certain points so we've got certain topics for the week. Use AI to fill in the bullet points and to fill in those needs that you have. There's a tool for your need. You just have to find it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yes, there's a tool for your need, but there's also, GPT and other LLMs, learning models that, that are out there that you can essentially start to utilize. And like I said, don't be pigeonholed as to a specific use case if that's how it's been pitched or sold to you. Test it and try almost anything, and you'll see the power of it. So it covers just like a little bit about like, analyzing how to use it or where it might have purpose. Another thing is how you're utilizing AI today is probably not going to be how you're utilizing AI in 3 months, 90 days. It's going to have hyperly evolved and you're going to continue to see the evolution favoring, the direction that you want to go. So it's becoming a very powerful tool, employee assistant, in a lot of ways to really, help you get to that next level, and essentially optimize, any behaviors that you currently have or, particular routines that you may have been, doing over the past 10 years, pop those into AI and see if it evolves how, your outcomes.
Yeah, and I think that plugging into AI systems is important. We were typing into AI yesterday to see if it knew who I am. And ChatGPT pulled up a whole description on Hilton overview. It says, Pat Hilton, known as the Acoustic Force, is a Dallas-based entrepreneur, speaker, and media producer, founder of Acoustic Force, blah, 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 like all that stuff. ChatGPT, like they know who I am on ChatGPT. That must be straight off of Google or Apple Podcasts. It's got little sources. I encourage you to go into ChatGPT, or especially Zach will tell you, make sure you search Google too, right? And see what it says. And
Well,
then
definitely,
figure out how
yeah.
you can optimize that. Ask the bot how it can help you optimize your bio.
Correct. And you have to be optimizing for all arenas, all various sources. And definitely, if you're optimizing correctly for a lot of the main platforms, GPT is picking up the information because it is looking for some of the similar structures of data and information that these other sources have been pulling from. So if you've been doing SEO or programming your website to be more efficient for Google as well as your social profiles, GPT is picking up a lot of that information and content and putting it into their index. So it's pretty exciting times, but definitely outside of how the consumers, utilize AI for like B2C perspectives, when you're looking at it from like a B2B perspective and how you can evolve your organization or your company and stay relevant as we go beyond 2025, AI, you have to be asking the right people in your organization, how you should be utilizing AI or different areas they think they could make things more efficient. As well, when you're utilizing AI on this standpoint here on April 21st, 2025, it might, like 95% chance not going to be the same way you're utilizing it come July of 2025. So, get cracking on it, start to utilize it and evolve with, the strengths that you're seeing, AI give you.
So for you, Zach, for me,
Mhm.
the tools I have found that have been really, really great. One of them is called Descript. It's like a chop up your podcast style tool. It still takes a whole bunch of work, folks. You can't avoid the work,
Yeah.
but it can help you move quicker. They do have a free version, and then you can pay. It's like $20 a month. Worth it. Again, great tool we use. We've used that for years, and they've adapted all these AI features that help me go faster, which is cool. And then there's another presentation software called Gamma. Really, really cool. They have a free version. What are you seeing on your end that's helping you, like actual tool wise, that you kind of have been implementing that's helping you outside of like GPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever?
Well, I've definitely been refining my skill set, specifically in a specific arena, and that has been GPT for me. So rather than spread myself thin and go look at all these number of solutions out there, I've been maximizing and becoming, an expert in prompting and utilizing the GPT environment. I've utilized others and I do utilize other tools, but the things that you can utilize GPT for, you could do, very nice mock-ups on there. You can analyze data that you might not think it's able to really look at. You can analyze, meetings that you've had and like next steps from there. So, if you're just even, one thing I'd say is like, find a tool and a resource, really start to perfect that. Yes, you can become like multifaceted with a number of tools, but at the same time, if you can really perfect, a specific tool, it's going to get you a long way here in the next 3 to 6 months. And, GPT in particular continues to refine and
Totally.
it's getting much better from a program perspective at a much more rapid clip than you'll be able to utilize it
Oh
more
yeah.
efficiently, if that makes
I
sense.
like
So,
the images.
yeah.
I like that you brought up the images. You can make cool little cartoons and all kinds of stuff on ChatGPT that used to take hours and hours and hours to animate, and now GPT can do it in like 5 minutes.
Well, look at even the action figure,
Oh yeah, the
viral
action
post
figure
that
thing too. Yeah.
AI created.
Uh huh.
But there's essentially a lot of ways to utilize the tool. And if you start to like craft and refine your skills of becoming a master in that one particular environment, it's going to take you a very long way. It's similar to those that mastered Google early on and didn't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily spread themselves thin across like Alta Vista, Netcrawler, like all these search engines. Of course, people looked at the basics, right? So when I am utilizing GPT, I am learning more and more as to how to craft my prompts, create information around my prompts, providing GPT more documents, more files, more information, more core basics and understanding to the topic that I'm going to be speaking to it about. So like I said, the actual utilization of even, GPT's environment 3 months ago has evolved, and the more information, the more data that you continue to feed it and give it to help you refine your prompts and your answers, it's just getting that much better. So yes, you can go find a number of tools and utilize them, but also don't be discouraged too by like a tool that misses the boat. Definitely go out there and create your own prompts and become a little bit forceful in utilizing the AI to get to the answers that you want to get to, because the answers aren't always accurate. I would say like the first couple go arounds, you have
Yes.
to keep refining the prompts.
You really have to
So,
talk to the robot, and like it needs to get to know how you talk because it will be able to respond in your talking style over
well,
time as you communicate with the device.
the challenge with GPT as they're going for a bigger mainstream environment is they seem to be trying to cater more to a B2C environment versus a B2B, right? So there's like two walks that they almost have to go or decide their path, right? Utilizing it within commercial instances and business, it's a huge utilization. But as I've seen them evolve over time, they start to craft more of the consumer answers into your business utilization. So it's this fine line of pushing it into the business utilization to make sure that you're getting the answers that are going to empower you from a business owner perspective to continue to crush that next level.
I love it. I love it. Dude, there's so much opportunity out there. And if you're struggling to be on camera, you're struggling to podcast, you're struggling to do whatever, listen, go on ChatGPT and get some bullet points and go off of those bullet points. It might help you fire off some value to your audience because these
Or
tools
even,
are so
yeah,
cool.
even find AI that can mock you as like I've seen some cool AI that's not GPT, but creating videos of people, coming to life and speaking on specific topics and scripting them. And maybe that, journey or being able to, envision what you might look like on camera can help you bridge that gap. And there's also going to be, I think you're going to see AI avatars start to like take to life, even though you kind of, poo-pooed them a little bit earlier
Well,
in the
I don't
dialogue.
dislike
You
them.
know,
I just warn people. We're utilizing some of it in certain areas. I would just warn people if you're a personal brand to be really
yeah.
careful of using computer generated versions of yourself and then not telling your audience. I think you should do it. We're learning how to do it. There's a couple different tools you can use. One of them is called Hedra. There's another couple other programs. Captions has this thing called Mirage, but it doesn't do you very well. It can make like a fake mock-up of something person that doesn't exist or whatever they have already in their system. But you got to be careful if you're posting computer generated stuff and then you want it to give value. You don't want to try and convince people it's you.
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the main reasons of having a personal brand is being authentic. I think you should use those tools. I think you should learn how to use them. Script and AI. There's another one called HeyGen where you can do generated avatars. Check those out. They're not expensive, but careful because if you want that thing can't go up and speak on stage in front of 2,000 people for you. You have to actually know what you're doing still. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so, as people who are developers or creators, we always want to warn the user, you want to be proficient in your category because when you get on the phone or somebody's going to wire you X, Y, or Z for your business to service them, they're going to want to talk to a real person at some point. As you don't want to ever
Definitely.
mask what the deliverable is by computer generated anything. So use it,
For sure.
have fun with it. If you want to use it, run an ad and do this or that, do it. But get on the phone and service your customers. Don't think that AI is just magically going to do all the work for you. Use it as a tool. So that's my disclaimer.
Well, on that note, definitely,
I love it.
let's have
Kick
a
the
powerful
beats.
week out there.
Yeah, let's definitely have a powerful week. If you are out there and you are a listener, thank you for joining us. Make sure to follow Zach Hoffman, follow Pat Hilton, add Zach Hoffman as a friend, add Pat Hilton as a friend. We want to support you. We want to be there to help you get to the next level on your journey, and message us anytime. If you have questions,
Sure.
message us. If you have topics that you want us to cover, message us. Let's get in touch. Let's rock and roll. Have a great week, and we will see you all on the next
See you,
one.
Pat.
Zach, Have a great one, my friend.
Have a great one. We'll talk soon.
Later, buddy. Cool.